This is the Codcast. All things Whitby Town FC.
I'm Andrew Snaith, and alongside Liam Ryder and Paul Connolly from the Whitby Town media team, and we will have some good news on transfer activity as we go along on the programme, but we're going to start by talking about Saturday's centenary dinner. Of course, 100 years of Whitby Town FC, starting in 1926. There was a big dinner, 300 people there, all the great and good assembled at Whitby Pavilion, and the evening kicked off with these words from Graeme Hinchliffe, part of the board at Whitby Town FC.
What we're trying to do in the next 12 months is get closer to the community. I think Whitby Town Football Club has been disconnected for far too long. There's some great little clubs in the town. You've got Fishburn Park, you've got Fisherman's, you've got the cricket club, you've got the rugby club, and really Whitby and all of those clubs should be working together, okay? And that's something that myself and Ivor and the whole team are going to be working on in the next 12 months. Have a really good night. We're going to have a great band on. We've got some great auction prizes. Please raise money for the football club, and I promise you, on behalf of myself and Ivor, we will put money back into the community in Whitby, because it's a lovely, brilliant place. Thank you very much.
Graeme Hinchliffe from the Whitby Town Committee. Kicking things off, as I said, lots and lots of people involved that have had a great deal to do with Whitby Town's history and some of its notable successes, including arguably their greatest ever manager, Harry Dunn, who sat down and spoke to Paul.
So Harry, the Whitby Town centenary dinner this evening. First of all, it must be nice to sort of relive many, many happy memories with this football club.
Obviously, seen a lot of old faces I haven't seen for quite a while. A lot of old friends, and it's just been a really good night. Thoroughly enjoyed in the moment, and hopefully it'll continue.
Yeah, it's a very good turnout. I think around 300 here this evening, and obviously from different areas of the football club as well. You look to the sort of the mid-60s teams, there's the 80s sort of teams, 70s, and obviously your team from the 90s and 2000s represented. It's great to get everybody in the room and reminiscing and enjoying themselves, isn't it?
Well, I think that's what these occasions are about. It's about people getting together from, as you say, different areas. One thing I must say is some of the guys from 65 look younger than me. So they've obviously kept themselves in good condition, what a bit. But it's just nice to see a whole different variation of people from Whitby, coming down and supporting the club. And obviously the club needs this type of support. Long may it continue.
Yeah, it's a club as well for yourself, Harry. You've had so many honours over the years. You have such a successful managerial career, but that one of those highlights has to be obviously something we'll talk about, Wembley in '97 and those FA Cup runs.
Yes, we all know how difficult it is to get to Wembley. You're talking about, over 1,000 clubs involved in that competition. I think that season we had a very, very strong side, some excellent, they were all good players, but we also had a lot of character in the side. And I think the longer we went on in the competition, the more confident I was getting that we could get to Wembley. And which obviously we did, and we could win it. And I don't think that's being big-headed. I just thought we were probably the best side at that level of football in the country.
Absolutely, and so many sort of experienced old heads in there, wasn't there, as well? The likes of sort of Dave Logan, Andy Tolman, Mitch Cook, those sort of players that, you probably wouldn't get a side together like that now, would you, at that level?
Very difficult, very, very difficult. We've got a good mix of players. A lot of good characters, as you said, a bit of experience in the right places, but a lot of good players who, showed what they were about, and that's taking nothing away from North Thurley. They were a really good side at that. Tim Hockey, their manager, I spoke to him after the game, obviously, the misrepresentation said, but he said they were outclassed on the day by a far superior side, which is great for us to hear.
Absolutely, and it's sort of testament to the team spirit that they had then as well, Whitby, because you're looking tonight when members of the squad get together, and yourself and Dennis and everyone. But every time there's a reunion, you can tell how tight knit they were.
Well, I think the main thing is we all look Whitby. We love Whitby. I love Whitby as a football club. I love it as a town. I think the townspeople has taken me to the heart. What have you? I thoroughly enjoy coming down to Whitby. It doesn't matter where I go, somebody will come and thank us. And to be perfectly honest, Paul, sometimes it embarrasses us. Because to be honest with you, the last time I was down at Whitby, a lad came over who was in company with his family, and he came and thanked us for what I did, and I didn't honestly know what to say. I just, we come here to do a job. We did the best we could, and I'm just happy that we did as much as what we could for the town.
Absolutely, and obviously you still get down to the Turnbull quite regularly, don't you, Harry? And enjoy the games. Obviously, it's been a difficult season just gone for Whitby, but you look at tonight and you speak to people, and it does feel like there's a bit of a bright future sort of blossoming here.
Well, if you look at the occasion tonight, it doesn't look as though they've had hard times. It looks as though I would think at the end of the day, you think, well, we've had a good season. We've had a run in the cup, we've done this and done that. So it's not downbeat by any manner of means. It's not downbeat, and neither should it be. Whitby are punching above the weight. We all know that. It's clubs in this league have got big budgets, and Lee's going to have an awful hard job on his hand. But I'm certain he'll do okay. I would just like to see the club get another good run in the FA Club. And to bring a few coppers into the club and hopefully just push on from there, because as a supporter, we love the FA Cup. We love it. And it's great for supporters. And hopefully, if they can get the right people in, it might happen this year.
This is the Codcast.
That's Harry Dunn, or Harry A. Dunn, to some Scarborough FC fans. Of course, he did play alongside another Harry Dunn. He got the fictional initial added to differentiate himself, part of the legend that is Harry Dunn. Paul, catching up with a real great in the eyes of all Whitby Town supporters there.
It was really great to catch up with Harry and to catch up with a few people, not just Harry and from those former Whitby Town teams. There was the likes of Eddie Barker there on the night, who had a brief chat with, didn't get a chance to record with, but it is what it is. Tony Eskerett, of course, part of Tony Lee's great team. Anthony Lee, Tony's son, was there. And yeah, obviously, Paul Burton, the 92-93 Northern League winning captain, and Stevie French, the only player, I think, to win the Player of the Year 3 years in a row at Whitby Town. Some fantastic names and some great people there, and just a real pleasure to see them all sort of gathered within the room and enjoy the evening and enjoy reminiscing over their times with Whitby Town.
Indeed, I was going to say, and Liam, Harry mentioned that it wasn't a downbeat occasion. Despite the trouble at the end of the season, obviously we nearly went down for the first time in our history. There's been a lot of departures in the summer already, but it was an important point he made, wasn't it? That evening was certainly not a downbeat one. It was all about celebrating what's gone in the past, and hopefully some of the great stuff to come in the future.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing was, of course, to celebrate 100 years at the football club, and had the worst happened and we did go down, that evening is still going to go ahead as planned, and you've got to really look back on multiple highs that we've had at the football club in those 100 years. But as it goes, it turned out to be a more positive evening. I know that everyone's massively aware of the amount of departures we've had. But I think really the overriding theme is sort of coming out of that really is it feels like a bit of a reset for the club. A lot of people that were at the event that haven't been to games for a number of years for various reasons, but actually, you sort of hear discussions, people wanted to get back involved with the club, which is really good to see and hear. So yeah, a bit of I suppose mixed emotions going into it of what it could have been, but yeah, I think afterwards, everybody that went there, I haven't heard one bad word said about the night. I think everyone's really enjoyed it, whether they're regular or not. But on the whole, just a chance now to, that's the 100 years sort of, we've got to that stage of the club's history now, and a few of the speeches on the night as well referencing, here's sort of to the next 100 now, and what memories it can create there. So hopefully, like I say, a bit of a reset. And, can really start to sort of look forward to the new season now. But I think the main thing is there that everyone's come away from the night, had a really good evening and got really positive things to say about the night and the club as a whole.
That's right. And as we mentioned earlier, Anthony Lee was in attendance. Unfortunately, his father Tony no longer with us, but certainly regarded as one of the club's greatest ever managers, the first man to get us through to the second round proper of the FA Cup, and assembled a tremendous side. And Paul had the opportunity to sit down with his son Anthony at Saturday's event.
So, Anth, we're celebrating 100 years of Whitby Town Football Club. Obviously, yourself a former player, but as well, your dad being Tony Lee. Just first of all, I mean, your involvement with the football club, or your relationship with it, shall we say, goes back to how old would you have been then?
I'll have been 6-year-old, 1980. Yeah, showing my age now. So 1980 when he took over Whitby, and left in 1985. All them FA Cup runs, first round, second rounds, FA Trophy, quarterfinals. So amazing times. Nice seeing the pictures up on there.
Absolutely, I mean, some great memories there, obviously, with your dad's sides. I mean, for you growing up as well, you see that 83-84 Cup run to Wigan, and the year after against Chesterfield as well. I mean, it's that memories for a lifetime, aren't they?
I used to always think he was Man United. I always say that. When I used to come in the crowds and the excitement around the club at the time, I think it was getting like 2,500 for them cup games. And it was fantastic, great times,
Obviously, as well, with the sad passing of your dad a few years ago now, I mean, it must be nice that obviously those memories are still available in terms of, you can go on YouTube and watch the Halifax and the Wigan games and the Chesterfield games. I mean, for you and for the family as well, I mean, that must be just great to just sit back and watch what your dad was doing in the 80s again and relive it.
Yeah, certainly. I go through things quite a bit. Just go through the scrapbooks, and the memories are always there. We had the video on about 2 months ago, the game. It was the Chesterfield one. They got beat 3-1. It was the Halifax one. So marvellous times. Great record.
And obviously for yourself, you grew up with the football club in that respect, but then to go on as well and be a player at Whitby Town, that must have filled yourself and your dad with a sense of pride.
It was a strange type of feeling, to be honest. I was only there like about 20 games, so Steve Halliday will tell you, stat man. But I really enjoyed it. It was strange because it's getting all the memories, looking like where Dad used to be in that dug-out, Mum in that stand. It's great club, loved it.
And for yourself now, then obviously back in football, you're with Northampton Town with Jamie Poole. I mean, how did that one come about?
He mentioned the other year about Billing Town going in, and I've had a few over the years about going in with teams. But I've just always followed Graeme. I think I was 28, he was 25 Sheffield Wednesday, so I've just followed him all his career into management, and then all of a sudden now he's out for the first time. I thought, I'll get in, give it a go. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
it's a good challenge.
Yeah, it will be a challenge, won't it?
Yeah,
but I mean, I take it it's one that yourself. I know Pooley will be relishing it. Dale Hobson in that management team, along with Paul Rodham. So some strong characters in that management team.
Alex, exactly. Yeah, I think we'll do all right. I think we'll shock a few people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to put so much pressure on us, but
no, absolutely. But good to see you back in the game, Anthony.
Yeah,
thanks for joining us as well tonight.
Yeah. Really appreciate it. Been excellent.
This is the Codcast.
That's Anthony Lee speaking to Paul and reminiscing about his father's time as manager. So some more positive news. Obviously, we've heard a lot about all the players that are departing for past is new. One man who's staying put is one of Whitby Town's biggest appearance makers, actually, in his fourth spell, I believe, at the Tobar Express Stadium now, Adam Gell, and he spoke to Paul earlier.
So Gelly feels a bit of a rarity, really, talking to a player that's staying at the football club. I mean, first of all, you must be delighted to get everything done and sorted for the new season.
Yeah, I'm really happy that it's sorted pretty early, so I can just get my head down, get myself where I need to be for the start of the season. So I'm really happy. In a good position. Plenty of time till pre-season starts. So just really looking forward to going into training. Obviously there'll be a lot of changes from now to when we go back into training and then for the start of the season. So I'm looking forward to see how that develops.
Yeah, it must be quite an unusual situation, really. There, we sort of mentioned at the top of the interview about how the fact it's like you are, as it stands, the only player remaining from last season's squad. I mean, obviously, with that going into pre-season, it must be a bit of an unusual one that you're back at the same club, but you've got all these new faces to meet almost.
Yeah, yeah, it will be strange. Obviously, I think we had some we've had some really good players there who've decided to move on. Some players that I've played with for a number of years who who have been really strong in the league. So it's a little bit disappointing to lose some. But what we've got to do is be confident that we can build a strong team for next season, and I'm just from a personal point of view hoping that I can play a big part of that.
Yeah, because obviously the back end of last season was particularly frustrating for yourself, wasn't it, Gelly? Obviously, you had a chest issue that was sort of keeping you out of action. I mean for yourself now, I guess it's a case of looking to sort of put that behind you and like you say, go full steam ahead into the new campaign.
Yeah, it's the back end of that now. My chest's cleared up, so I've got plenty of time now to just concentrate on my fitness and make sure I'm in good shape when we do go back for pre-season training and then into the friendlies. So so yeah, last season what wasn't the how I wanted it to go. Obviously, we'd gone away and won at Warrington, and or it was a good performance, a good day, and I expected just to kick on from there. But my season sort of came to a bit of an end that day really, which was quite a big shock to me. And like you said, I just couldn't knock it. I tried to get myself back into the team at the end of the season. But if truth be told, I wasn't right. But I just wanted to contribute as much as I could, especially as it finished with such a nervy ending. Like I said, at that point at Warrington, I thought we were in a decent position and we were going to kick on. But yeah, really disappointed with how the season finished. Apart from last day relief, obviously.
No, absolutely. And in terms then of the way that Lee Bullock and Denny Ingram are building the squad, obviously, you'll have had your conversations with Bully and Denny. In terms of that, obviously, we know that there's gonna be the wanting to have an experienced core, and a few younger players looking to prove themselves around that. So I take it that obviously Bully's kind of had that conversation with you as one of those experienced players has been a key figure in helping that development.
Yeah, you've got to have a good mix. I do believe that you've got to have some old heads. There's always going to be young lads knocking at the door, which I do believe that there is a couple there who've put themselves um in the manager's sort of eye line over the last season. So we've got that set up at Whitby now. So there's got to be those young lads given a chance and coming through. But yeah, you've got to have a nice mix, a nice balance. And I'm at the back end of my career, so I'm hoping I can influence that, like you say, whether that be training, a bit of off the field guidance, and definitely on the pitch where I feel like I've had many years in the league now, and sort of developed my game over the years of playing for Whitby. So I feel as though I've got a lot to offer, not just in terms of the playing side.
And for yourself, Gelly, obviously, we're talking about you sort of extending a long sort of standing affiliation with Whitby Town Football Club. It was 11 years since you first joined the club under Darren Williams back in 2015. And looking And looking at it now, obviously 11 years later, and well into your third spell with the club. I mean, what is it about Whitby Town for you that sort of keeps you coming back?
Yeah, wow, 11 years. I remember going down to my first training session there when Darren had signed me. So I just, well, I remember first of all thinking, wow, what an opportunity this is to come along and play for Whitby. It was a big step up for me. I'd played against Whitby in pre-seasons for Gisborne, that kind of thing, friendlies, and every time I'd played against them, I knew they had really strong sides, really good players, and of course then the following as well. So I never thought, well, when I first come, I just thought I've got to break into the team, and then as I got into the team, settled in, it was the relationships I've built with the fans, and just playing at the Turnbull for me, it is for me, it was something that I've fell in love with doing, for a lot of Saturdays of the, like you say, the last 11 years. I've been at the Turnbull ground or on the road with Whitby fans, where I've been able to build some real friendships there, and now a comeback, I know straight away that they'll be behind me, supporting me, and supporting the lads ready for the start of the season. So it's the magic of the people at the club, to answer your question. That's what keeps bringing me back.
The Codcast, all things Whitby Town FC.
That's Adam Gell speaking to Paul, where he's staying put for the coming season. Seeing some of the reactions as well, I think people have really enjoyed it. A lot of talk of loyalty, Liam. I think people really appreciate that Geddy's staying with us.
Yeah, and people are entitled to their opinions of the players that have departed, for one reason or another. But the sort of general feeling that ultimately the club have tried to keep all these players previously, just ultimately not able to agree terms, and I suppose that's part and parcel of this level of football, really. But for Adam Gell, it kind of feels every summer, if he's offered a new contract, he's going to accept it. He's just very much a Whitby Town man, isn't he? I think last summer he came actually pretty much paid himself out of his old contract at Bishop Auckland to return to the club. So that shows the loyalty he's got to the club. And like his reference in the interview, it just feels like Whitby's sort of the one place that he really has sort of felt settled. I know he's had sort of various issues, which again happen at this level of football over the years. But yeah, it just sort of feels that this is the right club for him. And unfortunately for him, he hasn't had the best of seasons, really. Neither had a lot of players, to be fair, but he's had this illness which has ruled him out really for a lot of the back end of the season, when really he's the sort of person we could do with. But it's now at the edge for Gelly, where maybe he's not going to be the first name on the team sheet, but he's certainly a good character to have around, and he's been there and done it. If that's with being a relegation scrap, which hopefully it won't be next season, or even just competing, at the top end of the table, more towards the playoff places, which would be nice after what we've had the last couple of years. But just to have him sort of in and around the dressing room, whether he's on the pitch, on the bench, these are the sort of characters I think you need, and I think they're the sort of people that Lee Bullock's looking towards, in amongst sort of the younger players he's maybe looking to sign as well, but having that good core of experienced players as well, just to have sort of an influence and be sort of a bit more, vocal on the pitch, and have that sort of experience of playing at this level.
Yeah, absolutely. I was really pleased to hear that he was his health was improving there, and hopefully he can have a really good pre-season and really hit the ground running for the coming campaign. But great news that Gelly is staying with us, only 34 years young, so hopefully a few more seasons left for him. And I know we're hoping to have more good news to follow, and we'll bring it to you right here on the Codcast, Paul. But hopefully that's given people some reason to be optimistic.
Yeah, I would say it has. It just, I think it's nice for a start off for it not to be a summer where every single player's left the football club. Gelly was one of I think 3 that we've been waiting on. So yeah, it's nice to know that at least one's staying. But yeah, I think it's a positive, isn't it? Really, a character like Adam Gell, like you've sort of already said everything that needs to be said really there in terms of what he brings to the squad and to the club. And I liked what he said, about it being the magic of the people of the football club that sort of made it a bit of a no-brainer for him, because I think that sums up nicely what Whitby Town's all about. From what Adam Gell said there, it's about the people that are involved, that work tirelessly. There's a lot of people that love this football club, that work hard, and I think that's nice for them to be sort of recognised by a player that's staying at the football club, and for them to be the reason that the players staying at the football club. They maybe don't get the credit that they deserve a lot of the time, and it is nice for that to be recognised, and I think that'll give people a bit of a boost as well, and make people realise that there are players within this football club that do appreciate what they do, and they do sort of want to be around and be a part of it with them, which is, ultimately what everybody wants. They're the characters that we want within the football club. And I think, the reaction that we've seen to Adam Gell staying at Whitby Town just shows that, and it shows that people do appreciate him, especially more knowing that he appreciates them. So yeah, definitely cause for optimism. And I think that, next week's show will be even more optimistic, I'm pretty sure. There's, like Liam mentioned last week, there's signings that are there, they're done, they're over the line, but we just need to wait to get those announcements made. So it is a case of reminding people that we aren't holding things back. That there are things happening, there are things that have happened, and that news will be with you as soon as possible. Hopefully, sooner rather than later. But yeah, that more good news is coming. That's a guarantee, and it's time now to start looking forward after celebrating 100 years, and looking forward to, like Liam says, what's hopefully a lot more positive campaign. And looking at the names coming through the door, I'm pretty certain it's going to be.
Lovely. There you go. You got a nice little teaser for next week. We did start this tradition of ending the podcast with Booster Budget, and we have had some really, really good news regarding Booster Budget, with generosity from people at Saturday's event, I understand, Liam.
Yes, so supporters have probably seen advertised. We've changed it a bit. I know that we gave it sort of a trial for last season in terms of setting up the direct debit payments, which it had a positive reaction. Quite a few people got involved in that. Maybe not as many, which was understandable because the maybe don't want that commitment every month. But essentially, sort of trying to utilize these events to really sort of top up that pot. We had a good start with Ivor donating £1,000 in it. There was an anonymous donation of £30 from a local pub as well. So that was, a good sort of starting point. So that was, I'll have to check in with sort of with Craig Moff just to see if anything else has sort of come in on the back of these announcements. But yeah, on the centenary dinner though, the night of that itself, basically just asking for people if they're able to spare a couple of pounds even, an envelope put on their tables, and I think really we've probably got more than what we expected. So yeah, the total raised last Saturday was £1,232. So that's a real solid showing from that one. And yet again, it was explained clearly on the night what that money was going towards. There was no hiding away from anything, and people are happy to support that. And ultimately, even if they don't get to the games as much as they maybe would like to, or just whatever reason that is, it's good to see that the community is supporting the club in terms of trying to give us the strongest possible squad, whether that's contracted players or which that pot's ideally sort of made for the 1926 club, for sort of bringing loans and any sort of plays later on in the campaign. It's good to know that money's there, and that Lee Bullock can sort of call upon that if needed. So yeah, really good response to that. But yeah, if anybody else wants to make any sort of donation to that, or basically set up a pledge, we've done it before where supporters have sort of come forward with ideas for even little things like £20 for a win, tenner for a draw or something like that, or something for a clean sheet as well. Any ideas are more than welcome, so you can send them over to treasurer@whitbytownfc.com if anyone's interested in getting involved in that, and hopefully really can gather some momentum as the season goes on. We'll be looking to provide regular updates on what's in the 1926 club pot. So yeah, hopefully there we can really get some good funds in there and ultimately support Lee Bullock and Denny Ingram if they feel they need a bit of a boost to their squad across the campaign.
Absolutely well said, and thank you to everybody who's got involved with that. Thank you to our guests this week, to Paul Connolly, to Liam Ryder, to Anthony Lee, to Harry Dunn, to Adam Gell and Graeme Hinchliffe as well. We'll be back next week with hopefully more good news from Whitby Town FC. But for myself, it's bye for now.